I'm back. This one's for my mystics. So 5D mystics who are basically beyond spirituality because we know about being a human being. And I'm going to just cut to the chase. So yeah, if you believe in all those ancient texts and that AI and technology are demons or whatever, you're not 5D, you're 4D. Just saying. A person who's moved into oneness consciousness uses the left-right mode and they understand how energy works. So on that note, I do have the cards that we were looking at today because I want to relate to you all the difference for 5D mystics with the Oversoul. And that would be that it's our family. There's no energy vampires, dark auras, I need to protect myself with egg cleanses and all that is in the storyland of esotericism, metaphysics, or wherever that comes from. But intuitively speaking, a 5D mystic will know of this heart, home, compassion, independently from what can take place within your dynamics of your oversoul. You're not an actual lost compass though. So you don't need to get back to integrity. This is where the 4D is at. And they don't actually take the opportunity with their oversoul to get back to integrity because they don't look at their attachment categories or their trauma memory. So they don't create clarity within their tidy house, which is not a tidy house. If your body has implicit bias and you don't know how to sit in stillness and understand those emotions, you don't make sense of your trauma memory. 1, 11, and here's where we got 9 and 8. Okay, so spiritual growth, putting it into practice. Okay, so especially on an 1122 portal, which we have as numbers that are very important. Yeah, 4D is all over teenage land, is how I'm going to continue. And that's because teenagers in my book, when I was growing up, did drama. I didn't do drama. I was like, what are you talking about? Only you deserve love. At a certain point, you support someone, but then it becomes you're being disrespectful and unkind to another human being. Well, no, Maria, but they did, and they list something. And that's like, you make mistakes too. Okay, so when I got to be more informed, thank you, dear attachment researchers and trauma researchers and all the updated information of people who know about our trauma memory and neurobiology. And, again, I don't even want to go into the path of those who don't believe that humanity is love because they have a trust break with humanity, their own species. To me, it's always been like, how do you criticize the entire, it's one thing, yeah, we're venting, we say words, but you actually mean it. I don't mean it. I'm just sharing a thought. And then as you move into expansion, you're like, why do you keep making groups and sides? Okay, so anyone who is in separation consciousness, my lovely mystics, are people who don't understand how to work with their emotions and understand implicit bias. We all have likes and dislikes. You call it karma, call it what you want. Nothing against the word. Actually, Sadhguru uses it very well. And a true spirituality guru of any type will try to explain to you what they mean. Here, let me translate. If you don't have a whole 3-year-old heart, which means if you don't have healthy self-worth, which means if you don't know how to love yourself first, which means you don't know you're not superior, inferior, which means you can be rude and evil and whatever it is, a bunch of names that people want to use. You, that lovely finger, did anybody not teach anyone how not to point? I remember, don't point, Maria. I remember that, and I remember, oh, that's right, I shouldn't point. Because, yeah, I'm flawed and imperfect. I make mistakes. So, yeah, meditate. Let's meditate, shall we? How many of you meditate and you understand what you're doing? So, meditation works your corpus callosum, your prefrontal cortex, your hippocampus, and your connectome allows you to integrate your brain. That's only if you work with your child parts. That's only if you can work with what implicit bias comes up. So when you say, ew, I don't like that. Oh, they're too nice. Because that's the reactions that some of us get. Stop being so good. I'm not good. Stop being so nice. I'm just being a normal human being, actually. It's called having some humanity. What are you doing? Okay, so there's a lot of unresolved trauma going on, and some of it is not due to developmental trauma, so abuse or neglect. It's actually due to trust breaks of teenagers. So they have big trauma and small trauma, although all trauma is important in my personal opinion, because I don't live in your body, so I would never in a million years think of saying big trauma or small trauma, but I understand from the professionals what they mean by it, because I'm attachment and trauma informed, then I understand the words that are being used versus just lipping stuff and not knowing what it means inside my body. So 5D mystics, they actually don't need to do this because they consistently are in this, or they get here if they move out of the 4D plane, which means they learn to gain clarity and organize their trauma memory instead of leaving it linger and then apply judgment upon humanity and call them, oh, humans suck, humans suffering this, humans suffering that. Oh, spiritual warfare, AI is the demon. Oh, let's go make up some other stuff. Polyamory, demon, we're in hell already because they're all going against the traditional scarlet letter times. So, okay, I want to get back to seriousness as we close out. That's what it sounds like to me. It sounds like a lot of people, and I sound like that when I'm doing my 3-year-old bit with my mother. So there you go. If you have clairs, my question has always been, how did you not understand that it's energy? Why do you keep talking about yourself as more special than other people? And why are you being disrespectful towards other individuals who have a journey? You can understand and have a tapped in intuitiveness. You're not their mother. You're not their father. You're not a person who's supposed to be a martyr or superior codependent type people with your capes, who think you're superheroes and then there's supervillains and that you're saving someone. Do you not realize how disrespectful that is towards a human being who has an identity of their own? The part about their own emotional stuff, being able to work through it, the honor is being able to tap into the heart. I see you, I sense you, I welcome you with open arms, and I hug you. And I accept you for who you are. It's called I believe in you as a whole human being. The 4D mystics, they got it in their head as they started to read ancient texts, somehow comparing themselves in a time that is no longer. When I got my first dream, I came out of, I'll never forget it, was it that? Well, there were two. So right now I'm thinking about the one I came out, but then there was one where it began with a lotus flower, and I believe it was in a pond. And then I came out of this in the middle of the somewhere, it wasn't on earth. But I remember it because of talking with one of my friends and knowing, or she taught me about lotus flowers and what they mean. And I was like, oh, wow, that's interesting. I never knew that because I don't have a background in spirituality. Eventually I did. Metaphysics, esotericism, and spirituality with Sadhguru, but no, my background is with Jesus, so I knew of saints and angels and, holidays. I had no idea what a lotus flower was. I had no idea about any of the elemental plane stuff. So, on that note, then I became a tarot reader, Akashic record reader, and Reiki master, and a lot of more beautiful things, but I never separated from the word of forgive them for they do not know, and walk with all the people, and you are people, and be humble. It sounded very egoic when I heard 4D people starting to say we're anointed, we're special. I'm like, what are you talking about? And so 4D is not where they should be, but that's for reasons. Let's support them get home, shall we? It's called humanity. Let's love each other, be kind. You don't walk in another person's shoes, so trauma, let's help heal it. come tune on in.